Besides,
I can see you, yes.
Okay. Are you going to watch by YouTube, or do you need me to leave the information view on for you?
As long as I can do them, I think I can watch through here.
Okay. The one thing you're not going to be able to do is see the audience, though. You have a second device that you can view the recording on?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm going to turn the camera on this one off, just so I can just see just you and Amy, who's our consultant.
Okay.
On.
Okay.
Amy, can you hear me?
You can. I was going to keep my video off.
That's fine.
one more thing, totally different. That is an issue. That is a very big issue. That's why they can do it either way.
If you leave them on, they will stay on, they will be able to turn them on.
No, they'll still be able to.
And they
It's so impressive like that.
So we're going to have a bridge mason down there today. So next couple 3 weeks, well.
That works.
Oh, no. Well, yeah. But we could have
Oh, so
for now.
you're going to be voting to approve that house.
well, that's opinion in defense person.
I just thought that was hilarious. How about true to form? Have an original thought. I should see a lot of I mean, I was imagine if it wasn't so clear. Everybody in here has a superhero.
Yeah.
It's the first time in my life she didn't know who I was. And then Karen's like, she didn't know who I was either. It was funny. Karen was like, "This is Jeff's daughter," and she's like, "Oh, where do you think her from?" And so we just kind of, it was like she was having a moment thinking Karen was still going to college by now.
Well, anyway, at the end of the day,
She had a really good
she had a
life.
great Hillary, she died.
And she was there for her.
No, no.
I knew that they were putting somebody there all the time.
No, we just not.
She was good at filling that space because she was right there where she wants to be. It's been a shitty year.
Oh,
It's been a shitty. I know.
I'm over it. Anyway, we'll catch up. But yes, I'm going to put a plaque out front, and here lie the assholes who approved this house.
Good, Mark. I know. I've got that little garden. I've got that garden, blue stone. Just make me another one. By the way, the owner's got like.
I mean, if they follow through, it'll be.
That's when I was at Bob's there.
The background noise that you're hearing is 2 hours side once we get started.
Led by.
Make it Tuesday night.
Welcome.
We have every language studio up here.
Tony,
Go.
are you ready for
This
this?
has been incredibly stressful.
That was last night.
Right in the middle.
Yeah.
Wherever you would like.
Hi, how are you?
There's a microphone here. I'm sitting there. Yes. Mayor's at that table.
Hey, do you know where the bathrooms are?
answer that off the top of my head. I assume if it's a tie.
I can, yes.
Awesome, thanks, man.
Wait, but I need to be able to check his. Dan, I need you to say a few lines so I can do a sound check on you.
Okay. Check, check, 1, 2. Can you hear me?
Okay, we're good. There we go. We got everybody.
You have that up all the way. That's all it goes. Okay. Dan, can you say a few more lines?
Sure. Audio check, audio check. Can you hear
Can
me?
the board all hear?
Can you hear us?
I can't hear you, yes.
What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? Our audience can't hear.
Nicole, do we have an extra microphone? Say, Nicole, I can put the mic up to that speaker.
I don't know how that will work with their audio system.
Let's see what it's, let's have him check it.
Check it. It's on the screen.
Say something, Dan. Carry.
Audio check, audio check. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Barely.
If you need to say something, make sure you speak up, man.
Okay. I'll just wave my hands.
All right. We'll be watching.
Josh, it is 6 o'clock.
All right. That's you. All right, it is now 6 o'clock, so I am going to call this meeting to order. Just want to go over a few things tonight before we get into the meeting. First, I do want to thank Ivy Tech for opening up their facility for us to have this meeting. Hopefully it is a little more comfortable for you. We are at capacity, as you can see, even here. So appreciate everyone coming and coming and showing your support on the issue and however that might be. So one thing I do want to go over is how the meeting is going to be run. We're going to have, during the public comment period, I'm going to ask the person that, on these sheets you guys signed up on, to come up to the podium. That's over here, just so you all know where the podium's at. It's right over here. That's where you will speak from. There are a couple of chairs behind it, so I'm gonna, when I call the one person up, I'm kind of gonna say who's on deck, so that you can be up over there as well and be ready to go. One thing that I would ask is that if you have submitted comments via email or you have come up in front of the commission in the prior meetings, those are on record. And if you are planning to say the same thing, please know we've already heard it, and we do want to make sure other people get the chance to be heard tonight, because that is really important to us. So if you have done that and you are here on this, we would appreciate if you do skip. You don't have to. I'm not forcing you to do that, but we would ask that you please yield your time to others that have not had a chance to get in front of the commission. And then another thing, Ivy Tech does need this facility cleared by 9 o'clock. We have to be out of here by 9, so at 8:30, I will have to start wrapping it up so that we can clear the facility. Let's see here, make sure I've got everything on this with my. All right. One other thing I want to talk about, there has been some questions about whether or not what we're hearing tonight is an application or a resolution. It is a resolution that has been brought to us by the city. That is how it has been stated on it. So the city is not an applicant, they are a requester in this matter. So I do want to make sure that's understood. That is something that we're not used to necessarily as a plan commission. We're used to hearing applications, but in this case, it is a resolution. Therefore, with that, in the first meeting, we should have done a motion and a second, then gone to public comment. If you in city council meetings, you would see that happen quite all the time with the resolutions. And so that is something I'm going to ask tonight, so we get that on the record, and then we will still get to public comment. A vote will not be made until all public comment has been submitted. So just want to make sure you understand how that's going to go. And then other than that, I think we can get to the meeting at this point in time. So we are here to have a public meeting regarding the proposal submitted as Resolution 2025-PC1 to amend the zoning ordinance, official zoning map, and schedule of uses to create a riverfront district within the zoning ordinance. The Plan Commission has accepted an amended application for consideration. And then, with that, I think Nicole, where is Nicole at?
I'm right here.
All right. Do you want to provide a quick summary? Just
Do you want to do roll call?
That's true. Let's do roll call before we do that. All right, let's do roll call.
Okay. Rick Ferris,
Here.
Josh Wilbur,
Here.
Patrick Tevenaugh,
Here.
Jerry Ralston,
Here.
Carl Eaglin,
Here.
Zach Laughlin,
Here.
Joel Storm,
Here.
Mike Armstrong,
Here.
Van Crafton.
Here.
Good job.
All right. Now, do you want to go through a summary?
Sure. So in the amendment, the city has asked the Plan Commission to consider the rezoning of a small district to create a new riverfront zoning district. That has not changed. The change is that we have asked the Plan Commission to consider a smaller area. It's the area between St. Michael's and Jefferson on the north side of Vaughn Drive. And with the changes includes an amendment to the height that was mentioned at the very first meeting from 45 feet to 35 feet. And then we've also reduced the number of uses that are allowed by right or conditional to 28.
All right. With that, we do have the application that is on. It's been tabled, so we do need a motion to take the application off the table.
To take,
Resolution off the table. I make a motion, we take.
Or, sorry, not the application. Again, that's the resolution off the table.
I make a motion, we take the resolution off the table.
I'll second the motion.
All right. Nicole?
Rick Ferris,
Yes.
Josh Wilbur,
Yes.
Jerry Ralston,
Yes.
Carl Eaglin,
Yes.
Mike Armstrong,
Yes.
Patrick Tevenaugh,
Yes.
Zach Laughlin,
Yes.
Joel Storm,
Yes.
Van Crafton.
Yes.
All right, as I mentioned before, because it is a resolution, I would like to ask if anybody wants to make a motion in regards to the resolution. The resolution is, just so you know, to adopt the rezoning amendment to the Madison zoning ordinance. So that would be how the motion would need to be made if a motion is made.
it would be for resolution 2025-PC1.
I'll make a motion for the resolution 2025-PC1. I'll second it.
Normally you'd read the resolution.
Yeah, do you want to read the resolution out loud?
All right. I will read it. All right, resolution of the Plan Commission, Resolution 2025-PC1, resolution of the Plan Commission of the City of Madison, Indiana, recommending amending the City of Madison zoning ordinance, official zoning map, and schedule of district regulations. Whereas the City of Madison Plan Commission is the body charged with the duty of reviewing all proposed amendments to the City of Madison zoning ordinance, and whereas the City of Madison has a need for additional housing within the city limits, and whereas the City of Madison has determined that some parts of the city's zoned open space are buildable and should be allowed to be developed with a focus on housing. And whereas it has been recommended that the City of Madison amend its official zoning ordinance, official zoning map, and schedule of district regulations to be amended to establish a new zoning district known as Riverfront District for the purpose and intent to allow for development within downtown's open space. Now therefore be it resolved by the Planning Commission of the City of Madison, Indiana, that the City of Madison official zoning ordinance, official zoning map, and schedule of district regulations be amended as requested in the proposal attached hereto as Exhibit A, Exhibit B, and Exhibit C to establish a new zoning district known as Riverfront District, as approved and hereby recommended for passage by the Common Council of the City of Madison, Indiana. All right, so Carl, you want to?
I'll make a motion that we approve resolution 2025-PC1.
I'll second it.
Who was that? Zach?
All right, with that, then we will go to the public comment period. Again, just so you,
Could you put the map up of what you're approving?
we don't know what we're considering, you mean? Okay.
If you go on the city's website, they have several different versions of
If you have it or not.
I have it.
it. That's the one you are approving?
Yes.
If you look at the northern half of that, you are zoning it something else. That is a different color. They have the zones laid out by colors. If you look at where the coal lot is, the north half of that coal lot is a different color.
The map that you see here, the teal is overlaid on the new or the current zoning district. So it's not a different color. It's just, you can see through that layer.
Then do you
have the others?
This is the teal that you see, regardless of if there's a color underneath, is the map that we have requested the board to consider.
Can we see the map?
Josh, that is up to you guys.
There's someone over there.
Hold on a second.
Please restrict comments to the podium.
We are. I'm getting ready to do that. That's why I'm not. All right, again, so we'll start with the public comment period. Just so everyone knows how, again, you'll have 2 minutes when you go up. Again, I will name the first two. You have 2 minutes just to talk. That way we can get through hopefully everyone that has signed their name. The other part of this, I will ask and request that everyone please be considerate of those that are coming up, no matter if they are speaking for, against, or asking questions. We need to make sure that we are being respectful of the people that are coming up to the podium. I will definitely make sure that we enforce this because I think it's important everyone feel comfortable that they can come up and speak, in front of the commission. Also, if you have a cell phone, can you please make sure you silence your cell phones? Just because in the last meeting we had a few cell phones going off and it was distracting to others that were in the audience that wanted to hear what people were saying. All right, so the first person I have on here, and if I do say your name and you don't want to come up, just say you can skip me. That's fine. Just say something to that effect, and I'll say the next name on the list. And some of these, because some people signed it, I'm going to do my best. So if I don't say your name right, please, don't see me out in the parking lot afterwards. The first person I have is Richard Ice. Okay, thank you, Richard. Next one, I got Julie, Pat, and I'm not sure if it's Pattison. 714 Walnut.
Can I yield for now and come back, or do I need to come now?
I'd rather you come now because I'll probably forget you later.
That's okay. You can ask me.
I'm sorry. It's really
All
okay. Elizabeth Chapa. All right, Elizabeth, you want to go on over to the podium? I don't know where Elizabeth's at. Is Elizabeth here? Oh, okay. All right. And then Meg Perry, you're on deck.
Do I speak in here?
So Elizabeth, there should be a button, and if you want to push it all the way up to the top, that should do it. If you want to do it,
That's
sound
it.
check.
Yep. I believe that's working, right?
That is working, yes.
Okay.
Got a hold of them.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Elizabeth Chapa, and I live at 321 East Street.
Thank you.
I wanted to make a couple comments. Of course, being on East Street, I know that is part of the proposed area. And of course, I'm not for it. The gentleman had owned that property previously, had asked for a zoning variance that he could put up RVs during festivals, like during regatta and so forth. And it was rejected because that was not the use for that area. And this seems to me a much bigger not use for the area than RVs during a festival, when our entire downtown is littered with RVs during regatta. So just two different points there. Also, regarding putting the building in that location, along the riverfront, it is owned and used by everyone. You walk down there and it's peaceful, and people are walking their dogs, they're exercising, they're cycling, they're driving up and down, and everybody uses it day and night. There's been times I had to walk my dog late at night, and it's just quiet and beautiful, but people are out there. If we put an apartment building or condo or whatever the building will be in that location, all of a sudden you've got 35 apartments, right? About 35 is what it is. 70 people, averaging 2 people per, and I'm sure there'll be units with more than 2 people with families. So if we have 70 people there day and night, that area is going to become congested with a lot of cars and people, and any benches on the riverfront are going to be consumed by all of those people. And I just don't think the riverfront is set up to accommodate this, especially in the location that is the gateway into Madison, in my opinion. Thank you. And I hope you vote no.
Right after Meg, I have, is it Cox, the last name? It's 508, Stephen Cox. All right, sorry, I didn't do the Stephen. I'm sorry.
On there.
You're good, okay. All right, Vince Kidd. Okay. Anthony Kidd? You're on deck. All right, thank you. Okay, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Meg Perry, and I live at 507 East Main Street. I wasn't expecting to speak quite so early in this process, but number one, I just want to voice my opposition to this rezoning for development in this area. I agree with just about everything that Elizabeth Chapa just said, but in addition to that, we were handed, and I don't know if this is an appropriate question at this point in time.
You almost have to have it.
Okay, I almost have to swallow it. All right, I'll pretend it's an ice cream cone. Okay, so when we entered into this auditorium, some of us received this sheet that is a written objection to the City of Madison application to amend the zoning ordinance, official map, and schedule of uses to establish a riverfront zoning district. And this is, well, it appears to me an extremely well-written letter claiming that this entire process is illegal. And I'm curious as to what the commission has to say about this, and whether or not we should actually proceed with what we are supposed to be doing here this evening. I have no objections to addressing the housing shortage in Madison. I would fully support development, but not on the riverfront. That is not the appropriate area for development. And I'm under the impression that the EMS building will be moving off of its site and relocating to the hilltop. And that area where it's located now seems to me that that would be an ideal spot for future development if that truly is the case. Thank you very much.
So we have Anthony Kidd and then Bob Vonch. Right now, we're just listening, to public comment for now.
Hi, my name's Anthony Kidd. Hadn't planned to speak this early on in the night, so I'd hoped I'd have a little more to say. Just a couple comments on the development side. Again, I know a lot of people have commented on that it's just does not seem to be the best place for an apartment building, especially of this size in the city. I know we've talked about the impact of the floods and what that will do. And I know the city has addressed that it will not displace the residents, however, it will displace their vehicles. So then you have, is it 50 some apartments, 30 some? I've heard a couple different things tonight, but where are those additional vehicles going to go during that event? I mean, that's going to cause a lot of chaos there. And in general, I mean, I think a lot of us are just opposed to the idea of having that building so close to our riverfront. And I think being part of this town, we have a lot of pride in our riverfront, and to see something like that comes in, it just makes everyone uneasy. And I will say, I live at 624 West Street, so I'm closer to the ambulance garage, like the last person just said. And if that were an option at some point, I do think that that location would be better for an apartment building of some size. And another comment just for the city in general, we're talking about building new buildings and having outside developers come in. Why don't we partner with the people who own buildings on Main Street who have undeveloped second and third floors and incentivize them I think there's a lot of economic opportunity for local business owners there as well, instead of just bringing in an outside developer. Thank you.
Tina Stambaugh, is that right? Stambaugh, okay, thank you.
Yeah, my name's Bob Vonch. Me and my wife owns a place on 407 East Bond. And I'm here to talk about the open space. I'm in favor of it to change it back the way it used to be. One of my main things is we got a place on there, so if a tornado comes in or fire, we can't rebuild. If so much damage, we can't rebuild. I just want the same flexibility as anybody else that lives a block or 5 blocks away. I mean, if it happens, I got to have insurance or pay for it out of my pocket. And with the open space, it was put in there at one time. And I'm in favor of the apartments, because when we go down there on the river, we enjoy that river so much, whether we're sitting on a porch, evening, mornings, and to think there's 50 or 100 more people can enjoy that the same as we can, that to me, that would be good. I think you're still going to have your riverfront. You're still going to be able to walk up and down, jog, drive up and down. You're still going to be able to enjoy the river. But I'm in favor of it.
Thank you. All right, Tina Stambaugh.
Yes.
You're
Is this
up, and
on?
then,
I mean, can you hear me?
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And then Randy Bellamy, you are on deck. Again, if you please let people speak and try not to speak while they're talking so that everybody can hear. That would be great. Thank you.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. My name is Tina Stambaugh. My house is located at 116 Jefferson Street. And if you're not familiar with the street numbers there, that means mine is the house that's directly adjacent to the empty lot where you're proposing to build the apartment complex. So I don't know if I need to say anything else. I don't know if I need to say anything else beside that. It's kind of obvious, right? But I'm just one person. I get that. I'm just one person who will lose their entire Riverview, which is very sad, but that's really not what's important. What is important to me is that there are many other ways to use this empty lot that would benefit the entire community. And I am so proud of the way Madison has done such an excellent job of developing the riverfront. I've had the privilege of watching that over the last 10, 20 years. And it's just fabulous. Everything from the dog park all the way down to Crystal Beach, the basketball field, the amphitheater, the restrooms, the playground. It's lovely. It's very lovely. And so I don't know why we would want to deviate from that. Why not continue and make all the available city-owned spaces into some feature that can be used by all the citizens and the tourists? We have so many people who come here for that. There's so many possibilities, and this is just a short list: tennis courts, pickleball courts, maybe an exercise track with little stations along, even mini golf, splash pad, a picnic area, maybe a food court where food trucks that can be stationed during the festivals that we have. And I think even some of those features could be convertible space. I'm not an engineer or a city planner, but it just seems to me some of those things could be used in multiple ways. For example, if you had a pickleball court, couldn't you then flex that court when we have a festival and let RVs park there, or some of our festival vendors? It's just a few ideas, and maybe even the city could sponsor a contest to allow residents to submit ideas for the usage of the space, and then the city could all vote. Then we all have some ownership in it.
Josh, that is 2 minutes.
Oops, sorry. Okay, so
Wrap
you're
up
cutting
just
me off.
very quickly.
Wrap it up?
Yeah,
Okay.
wrap up real quick.
Well, so that was basically it, but just my thought is regarding the structure, it's not flood resistant at all. It's not a question of if it will flood, it's when it will flood, and it will. There'd be no way for the residents to get in and out, and maybe a pickleball court could just be hosed off and used again. That's all I got. Okay.
We have Randy Bellamy and then Mark Campbell. Okay. Next then is Dr. Richard Jones.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Pardon me. My voice is not very strong tonight. One of the things that I wonder about having an outside developer coming in here and putting up the building, where does that money go that people pay in rent? Does that stay in Madison? I don't think so. Next thing is, why is it a resolution, and why don't the people that are wanting the change just not apply? I'm just asking questions, okay? And I also see this as an example of something that is that terrible thing that we've been trying to get away from, spot zoning. That's all it is. Thank you.
We got Dr. Richard Jones and then Jarrett Boyd.
I am Dr. Richard Jones, a former brethren RN who practiced in Madison. For 92 years, the Madison riverfront has been near and dear to my heart. The beauty of the open spaces is why many people come to visit Madison. Once a change is made on our current zoning to allow even 1, 3, or 4 story buildings, the door is open to building more at that height. And changing our riverfront forever. I want my voice to be heard to deny any zoning change that would lead to taller buildings and change our change our riverfront forever. I thank you.
Y'all even want to hear what I have to say?
I think everybody, I don't think anybody wants to go after that.
Hard act to follow. On March, my name is.
Are you Jarrett Boyd?
Jarrett Boyd.
I'm sorry, okay.
Yes, 111 East Third.
And then I just want to call the other person so they can make their way there. Felicia Christofoli? There she is. Okay.
Felicia Christopher.
Yep.
On March 24th, 2025, Mayor Courtney was quoted. Oh, excuse me. On March 24th, 2025, Mayor Courtney was quoted in a headline on the front page of the Madison Courier. Our riverfront has become the jewel of the Ohio River. A scant 2 months later, the mayor made a presentation to City Council urging that body to spend TIF funds for sidewalks and curbs for a 4-story apartment building with an additional story for parking on our riverfront, as if it were an emergency leading to a great economic boost to Madison, and TIF money would be lost if not approved for those curbs and sidewalks immediately. Furthermore, he requested a zoning change to the riverfront to allow the apartments to be built, a change that encompassed from Jefferson to Ferry Street. Public outcry followed. The area to be rezoned was suddenly much smaller, and 4 stories became 3, with the parking underneath the 3. The public outcry has continued. The mayor has written that this is not spot zoning, but it is the very definition of putting perhaps undesirable construction or business where it has not heretofore been allowed. Once this is rezoned, there will be another plot of utmost importance to the economy of Madison. Another rezoning request. No end to spot zoning. Eventually, a quiet walk or a golf cart ride along the riverfront becomes a traffic snarl. We are told these apartments will provide additional income for the city and help solve what some say is a housing shortage. And while the investor in this apartment building will pay property taxes, how long before he decides that it will be to his advantage to turn the apartments into condominiums? And then the owners of the condominiums will decide that they can make good money.
Can you wrap up for us, please?
They can make good money renting them out as short stay housing. Don't let the many positive accomplishments of this administration be forgotten because of riverfront rezoning and development. Turning down this
Okay, I gotta
proposal.
cut you off.
All right, thank you very much. I hope you will not.
All right, we got Deanna Shelley on deck. Deanna Shelley is on deck.
My name is Felicia Christopher, and I live at 811 West First Street, and I enjoy living downtown. I've spent the last 12 years living downtown Madison and watching what I call the big, beautiful balance that supports our downtown business community. And I would recognize the fact that, especially during this season of the year, we know that tourists provide a big component of that balance that supports our business, but that's not the most important piece of the balance. It's our residents. And Madison is blessed to have a wonderful historic residential neighborhoods surrounding the downtown that support the shops and restaurants that are there. And the fact that we are considering rezoning this downtown, this area of the riverfront to support more business uses, and yes, perhaps bring more housing for people who want to live in this residential district, I think will end up being a supportive factor for our downtown businesses 7 days a week and 12 months a year. And I think this is very, very important for the health and vitality of the business community that we all enjoy in our downtown. I know for a fact that people come here and they cannot find a place to live downtown, and that's where they want to live. My husband and I own 7 apartments, and we always have a waiting list. And I think the burden is really going to be on the Historic Review Board, because that group needs to insist that whatever happens down on the riverfront in the way of building and rehabilitation meets a high standard of beauty that we have down there already. And the materials and all the efforts that go downtown really fit the high bar that has been set by the cotton mill and other beautiful developments down
Alicia,
there.
can you wrap up for us?
Downtown has changed in the last 12 years that I've been here, and I'm sure it will be changing a lot in the next 12 years. And I think this zoning application tonight is a positive step for the future of our community.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bob Canada, you are on deck.
Hello, I'm Deanna Shelley. I live at 120 Wall Street, west end of town, and we are certainly blessed, the city, with people who care. I have a question. I try to ask something different. What is the vision of the Plan Commission? Your title says you have one. This is not about one lot to be developed. It's rezoning. The rezoning would apply, or the zoning would apply to one lot. Our historical significance has been brushed aside as if no factor, but that's what's brought us to this juncture. There is space for housing development in our city, but not downtown, and especially not on our sacred ground of our riverfront. If further development does not have parameters or restrictions, this could go terribly wrong. And what company is pursuing this development? Where are they located? I can see the possibility of up to 125 or 150 families with nearly 300 cars in a 3-block area. What do you see? Thank you.
Yeah, Judy Stacier on.
I'm Bob Canada. Not quite as, I appreciate Dr. Jones, not quite as many years, but my whole lifetime, the city has been recapturing open space. That's been the progressive part of the city, and I've really appreciated it. I loved it. And it feels like now then we're regressing on that, not being progressive. And I feel like conservatively, there's 80%, maybe 90% more realistically people that are opposed to this. And I would urge you to listen to the vast power of the people. The people are feeling like this is almost a done deal, and it's almost like a betrayal. And so, especially when it's that. When it's that strong, I feel like that our elected officials need to be responsive to that. I have no doubt that what that lot would be, if someone were coming into Madison to develop, could be the best place in town, but we don't want to give our open spaces away. And I urge you to keep the open zoning open space zoning for that. Thank you.
All right, on deck, we have Marcia Oden, is that right? O'Day, okay. And then Champ Clausen. I know I saw Champ earlier. Right? No, Champ? Okay, Champ Clausen, yeah, he's. All right, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Judy Stacer. I live at 518 East 2nd Street. I've lived in Madison for 3 years and absolutely love it. I am not against progress. I believe we do need more housing. You need more housing for a community to grow. And I will not repeat all the objections that other people have raised. I agree with them. What I would like to say is that my problem is that building in that location is a bad idea. It feels like a done deal, and my heart sinks to say that. And so I'm going to address that feeling. Please consider a different design. If you're going to put a building there, that building, I've looked at the developer's website, and it is a generic, boxy, modern building. It doesn't have anything to do with Madison. It looks like you could plunk it down any place, in any placeville, America. Madison is Madison, Indiana, the best small town in the Midwest. It is not a generic.
I'm going to let her finish though, so that we don't take her 2 minutes.
As I said, the proposed building is very generic. I've looked at the developer's website. It has no character. There's no sense of place. It just looks like everything else that they've built. Madison has a very strong sense of place. And I don't advocate building a building that looks like it's been there for 150 years. I've been before HDBR. I know that's not a thing we want to do, but at least make it look like it's going to be a good neighbor aesthetically. That building is not. Also, please move the darn thing back from the street. It's just an aggressive attack on the feel of the street there. That is not a good thing. Redesign it, make it smaller if you have to, move it back, put a garden in front so that it looks like it's saying, hi, I'm the new kid on the block and I'm a new thing, and that's okay. But at least make it so that it's something that is going to be a good neighbor in Madison. Thank you.
Let Champ up, and then you might know this name, Julie Thevenel. Is that right?
I don't know who that is.
All right, good. I think you did. Julie Thevenel, you are on deck.
My name is Champ Clausen. I reside at 722 West 3rd Street. I am for the building. And the reason why is, honestly, this isn't even about me. I don't believe that it is about most of the people in this room. I believe that this is for the future. This is for my grandkids. This is for my great-grandkids. This is for the opportunity of our generations to come. I also believe that it adds to the history that we have had here in Madison. And let me explain. In the 1800s, all the way until about 1930, from the west end to the east end, on that same road, before it was called Vaughan, there were buildings all along it. We know this because in writings such as Dean Miller's Walking History, as well as Frank Knoble's history, we have those documented very well. And it's interesting that a lot of these places were places that we wouldn't agree with, that weren't clean, that weren't standard, but there was also wars in there. And there's an interesting element to this, because in the Dean Miller Walking History, it also states that tourism was big then, and the economy here in Madison was very vibrant, and that helped produce even bigger things, such as the upgrade on the railroad to the hilltop. So I'm for that for a future. I'm also for it for the reasoning that it does accommodate to what we have historically had here in Madison. But there's another reason why. Currently, our expenditures per capita are $33 here in Madison, which is extremely low considering other areas in and around us. One way to keep it considerably low per capita is to ensure that there is revenue that is continually bought. people living here, we're being neighborly to them. But not only that, their money that they're bringing in and that they're making right here in Madison, they spend right here in Madison. This helps our businesses. It helps each and every one of us. And even though it is a requirement and a sacrifice that we all give in certain pleasures and things of that, it is also capital that we all benefit from. And if it's not us, what about our children? What about our future? Thank you.
All right, Julie is up. We got Karen Skillman.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Are you ready?
Sure.
Okay. Julie Tavenall, 761 West 3rd Street. My comments are going to be a little choppy because I had to do a big edit because I didn't know we only had 2 minutes tonight. So just bear with me. My feelings on the riverfront is that we locals take it for granted because a lot of us see it every day. We grew up with it. And our thoughts, including mine, are, oh, that's just the riverfront. I don't appreciate it when I drive down there, the beauty every single time. And I like to kind of think of it as people that live on the ocean, I think would think. But when I go to the ocean, which isn't nearly as often as I would like to, I am in awe of the smell, the sights, the sounds, the sunrises, the sunsets. And those people that live on the ocean probably take it for granted. So I can imagine that that's how visitors feel about our Ohio River, is that it's beautiful, that we have a beautiful walkway, the majestic old trees, the breathtaking spring flowering trees, the boats and the barges flowing by, and yes, even sometimes the smell. So a few nights after the initial meeting that we had back in May, I think, I just took a cruise down on the river, which I suggest everybody does, and just slow down and look at it, how beautiful it is. See the people down there just thoroughly enjoying the river as it was intended. When I was growing up, that was, and a lot of people here are old as I am or older, it was junky down there. It wasn't safe. There were areas that my mom said, absolutely, you do not go to as a teenage young woman. And now it is, it took a lot of people to get it there. So I appreciate everything that our riverfront has become and all the people that it took to get there today. And I say our riverfront because it belongs to the people that live here. We the people should decide if we want to forever alter the landscape. So, and let's see, that's already been said. And again, this has been said, but no one is disputing the fact that we need more housing for all income levels. So you guys sitting there on the board tonight, I know this is going to be a very heavy decision that has been laid upon your shoulders. Please don't forever change the look of our riverfront by approving this request. Please vote no.
Karen Skillman up, and then Mark Timmons on deck.
I'm Karen Skillman, 1505 Michigan Road. We were told that you had listened to the comments and suggestions at the previous public hearings, that you made changes that would be more restrictive and reflect the feedback from Madison residents. What you are presenting here, and it's not shown, but I've seen the proposed building online. But what you are presenting here does not do that. True, it's not as tall, but it is not more restrictive as promised. There are no restrictions other than height. You're allowing lot line to lot line building with a 0 setback. The building will cover the entire block. That is worse than the taller building, not better. You've made it worse. There are no restrictions beyond height. New construction on Vaughn should have a residential zoning to preserve the integrity of the riverfront. Zoning not solely intended to increase density as this does, but residential development that can improve and modernize the riverfront without a big box residential, which is only good for dwelling units. The gain of 53 units is a drop in the bucket of what we're being told is required, compared to the damage of walling in Vaughn Drive with bad architecture that is too large and bulky. And it's wrong to create a riverfront district that only includes a few blocks.
What about the rest of the riverfront? You need to create a proper riverfront district that includes open space, residential, parks, public land, and other allowed uses. A proper district, one that corrects the things you want to correct without ruining Madison's riverfront. This building, as presented, is too big, too boxy, inappropriate, and only serves to increase dwelling units. It's not attractive or interesting and looks like any other dumb, boxy building found all across the Midwest. It's inappropriate for Madison. This does not need to be your only option.
Can you wrap up, please?
Fix this zoning. Do not allow this boxy building on that parcel of Vaughn at Jefferson. Please listen to the residents.
Go ahead, Mark.
My name's Mark Timmons. I live at 810 East 2nd Street. I want to address the proposal in itself. To me, it appears to be a shotgun approach to zoning, which is a bad idea, especially on the riverfront. I would, and by the way, I do see that there is a need for reinvestment down on the river. There's a lot of things that could be done that nothing has been done. And I don't disagree with reinvesting down there. I think each individual parcel should be evaluated on its own merit and what the plan is for that parcel. And much like it would be for a private citizen or a private business putting in a factory or something along that line, at least there's some sort of plan for that property, what it's going to be used for, and back off of this shotgun approach and take and evaluate each property on its own merit. I also would like to say that the property that has been proposed, my opinion, it's too much building for the footprint. The parking has been at a minimum 30% under evaluated, and I see nothing but problems with it. That doesn't mean I don't support something to do with that particular lot or even all of the other lots involved, but let's look at them at an individual basis and judge them by their own merit. But I think the shotgun zoning approach is really a bad idea, and I wouldn't vote for it.
Yeah, Tammy Hagmeyer speaking, and then Warren Oxford, you're on deck.
Can you hear me?
Written copies.
Okay. This has been an application all along. There was an emergency illegal meeting outside in the bathrooms a few minutes before this meeting, at which time they worked to come up with an idea to get around the fact that the application was an illegal application. The city can't do this. They don't own enough land to be the applicant for this process. So they've concocted a way to move around the city ordinances, and that's calling this a resolution. The problem with the resolution is I don't think the neighbors got the notification that it was a resolution and that they're rezoning that area. They know that they're talking about an application for something, but it's all now even more murky. So a few things that folks need to know. I do believe this is a betrayal of every citizen for or against it. It was wrong to have the illegal meeting outside the bathroom at Ivy Tech so they could come up with a way to get around what they knew they were wrong with. They received information late this afternoon. Some of you got a copy of that, some of you didn't. I'm really sorry. But keep in mind, Bob Canada's right. Bob did a great job. He said he believes that 90% of the people are against this. He's right. I have only met 3 who are in favor of it, and 1 who I thought was in favor who chewed me out. So I didn't want to say yes or no, and that was fine. Ample evidence from the recent tourism study shows that the scenic riverfront is the primary draw as defined by a random group gathered from an independent analytic group. We don't really need to guess what happens with tourism. There's probably somebody that owns a tourism business here tonight. There's probably somebody who has a tourism business that's been through a flood. We probably know what tourism means and that riverfront means to tourism, but if in doubt, read a study. Get the data from VMI, they have it, the riverfront is essential. There are plenty of places we can put a big 5-story building that's going to have all of its.
Tammy, can you wrap up, please?
Sure, all of its air conditioning and heat structures on top of that building or on the side of it. Otherwise they'll flood, they can't go down below. No parking for it, you all know what's wrong with it. There are a few good things with it. You also have some other information this evening, use it. Take advantage of that opportunity to talk to the people who are really going to make a decision about whether there's a building here or not. Thank you.
Thank you. Then Renee Wilson.
Yes. Am I on? Yes, before I start, we need to get a little clarification on some procedural side of things here, if you would, please. Yeah. Before we start, we need to get some procedural understanding on the situation. First, I've asked for copies of rule procedure, which normally spell out how long a person has to talk. And what's confusing to me, when we first started this, you were allowing 3 minutes at the first hearing that you had. And then this evening, we've moved to 2. It seems that it's without written rules and established procedures, you're acting in an arbitrary and capricious way on the time limit side. So I'm not sure how we moved from 3 minutes down to just 2, or even how we got to the 3 to begin with, because the Plan Commission does not have the required rules of procedure that's supposed to have for their operations. Need to back up, get some things in place. And second, I'm having difficulty following. You voted on a resolution a little bit ago. You voted on a resolution. And that resolution, as I listened to you read it approved this amendment. It wasn't a resolution to start the process. You can reread it. It approved the Riverfront District. So you've already voted and approved it. I don't understand. Or is there something I'm missing there? Well, then I'll go on. You know, this, as we started earlier, this was submitted as an application initially. To say otherwise is totally wrong. Every public notice has laid it out. There was an application submitted by the city. The city actually changed the application in the middle of things. They didn't come back to the Plan Commission and ask the Plan Commission to change something. The Plan Commission has not had a single meeting where they have discussed a riverfront district, what the regulations and the requirements should be for it. The application that you have before you is absolutely an illegal application for you to be considering. Under your own ordinances, there are 3 ways that you can adopt and initiate a zoning change. One is by adoption of a motion by the Plan Commission. That has not occurred. That has not occurred at all.
Wrap up, please, Form.
The second would be to adopt a resolution, the city council to adopt it. That hasn't occurred. The third would be for a property owner that owns at least 50% of the properties to submit an application. The city chose that route. And they do not own 50% of the properties. They only own 6 of the 31 lots. I've submitted all those comments in writing. You know, these main concerns come that the Plan Commission needs to do their job, and they're not. You know, you're being arbitrary, capricious on your time limits, so on and so forth. And this will be challenged.
That's fine.
It will be challenged in the courts. Thank you.
Thank you. And Edward Stiegel Jr.
My name's Rainey Wilson. My name's Rainey Wilson, and I live in Madison on the hilltop. I am a fourth generation that have lived here in Madison my whole life. I have some questions because most places.
Yeah, unfortunately, gotta keep it right close.
Most places, major cities, small towns that have a riverfront protect their green space. We should not even be having this discussion because our green space is open and it needs to be left alone. There are many options on where, if we need housing so bad, that it can be built. There's a vacant building a block north of that spot you're all looking at.
Right.
That is almost 40,000 square feet that could be turned into high living luxury condominiums. We'd much rather have a condominium than a bunch of apartment buildings because we've got plenty of them, but that's a discussion for another time. Also, looking at where we're at in the assessed value on the city's website, is there a tax abatement going to be attached to these buildings? Because that's on your all's webpage. New construction, it says abatement, eligibility, property includes new structure. We all know we're here looking for tax revenue. We know that. We know what the numbers say. We know that there has been way too much money spent. We know that we need money, but we sure don't need it at the cost of our riverfront, period. And that's all I got to say.
Nathan Montoya.
My name's Ed Stiegel. I live at 2512 Green Hills Drive. This apartment complex will not address the housing focus that we need. These are market rate apartments that, however, will not be at a rate that the average Madison person, the average Madison family can afford. So this development is not for the community of Madison. It's meant for those who are outside of Madison. This area should be for the community and for the community always. It is okay for this area not to make money for the community because it is allowing the community to grow and to nurture in ways that a dollar amount attached to it cannot happen. I also believe that this is a shell game and a magic trick because you guys are talking about one area, but you're not talking about the 500 lot area of Vaughn Drive, which is also in this redevelopment area, which 4 out of 6 lots is owned by Sewell and Glime LLC, who purchased and who did the Fairfield Inn. The city owns 1 lot and the family owns 1 lot. If we are not careful, what is going to happen is that there will be a hotel on Vaughn Drive before this is all said and done, and no one will be able to do anything about it because this has already been approved. We are also not talking about what's going to happen with Vaughn Drive. It's going to become a thoroughfare for cars. Vaughn Drive was meant to be for the community, for people to walk through the community, not for tons of cars. And we haven't talked about parking at all at this point in time. Within a 10-year period, this rezoning will dramatically alter our riverfront community. Madison has already documented and awarded accolades for our riverfront and a place where people must visit. When the center of our riverfront is no longer community-based because it's a thoroughfare for cars and hotels and other living areas that's not for Madison, this is going to be an area that people can no longer traverse freely within our riverfront, quaintness and community. And that will be destroyed. And once it is destroyed, it will never, ever be able to be remade.
Nathan Montoya and Kathy Ayers.
She's not here.
Not here, okay. Laramie King. Okay. Jan Vitris.
Good to go?
Yeah.
Nathan Montoya, 110 East Main Street here in Madison. No prepared statements. I jotted down a few thoughts listening to previous speakers. So sort of a scattershot. I served on the Main Street program for a good number of years, half dozen years or so. I chaired the Economic Restructuring Committee. I have a little bit of perspective on that. Also ran a business, a successful business on Main Street until my wife and I decided it was time we retired. Ran a bookstore. We survived. We were open 7 days a week and relied very heavily on visitors. We heard a lot from the visitors, what they liked about Madison. And you know what number one was? It was the river. The riverfront. That's what they liked. Now, sure, a few people added to our population might help Main Street business a little bit, but from what we heard, it would not be significant. I'm telling you that from my perspective as a 15-year business owner on Main Street. If I were making the decision and still had an open storefront, I'd say it's not worth it. No, the sacrifice would be too great. We as a community would sacrifice too much for a few more bucks coming into businesses that would be, relative to the quality of life in our town, insignificant. So I don't care. And I still have a business. I'm still up there by appointment. I'm a rare book dealer. I'm an appraiser. And sure, maybe some of the people that move into such apartments would be rare book collectors. You think living in an apartment like that, some mahogany bookshelves and it'd do me a lot of good. So as far as deferring investment in Madison's future, any suggestion that opposition to this would be suggesting deferring investment in Madison's future is disingenuous. I reject that in whole. Next, wrapping up, next, fast food franchises. Is that next? We've got a big box architect. Karen Skillman said big box architecture. Yeah, big box. Big boxes are on the hilltop. Right, that's where the big boxes are. We've got Lowe's, we've got Walmart. Big boxes can go up there. So next, what? Fast food on Main Street? Where's the McDonald's?
All right, Nathan.
So, all right, that's it. Thank you very much. Oh, one last word, green space, green space, green space.
And Beatrice is up and Shelley Murphy Smith.
Yes, I'm Jan Vetrus. I live at 701 East 2nd Street. Nobody has addressed so far this evening the flood walls, because basically that's what this is going to put in place. Because it is in the floodplain, the parking garage, which is basically a giant flood wall, and that's what we're going to start seeing all along our riverfront. And several people have already pointed out, it is the riverfront that draws people to Madison. Destroying that by putting back buildings the size of the old factories and buildings that were there in the 19th century that were washed away by the flood is not a solution for Madison. I'm also speaking on behalf of Kathy Ayers, who said, please let us vote on this as a community. Put it on the ballot. This is not something that the Plan Commission should have crammed down their throat or City Council. So please let us all have a say. Thank you.
Shelley Murphy Smith up and Robert Stacer.
Shelley Murphy Smith, 418 East 2nd Street. You've heard me speak. I'm not going to repeat all those things, but I do want to talk about a couple other things. We've been told that this is needed for housing. Yes, we need housing. We've addressed some housing issues, which I think is wonderful. We don't need housing down there. I talked to a realtor mid-June, and the numbers in mid-June were that there were 62 total homes for sale in our county. 13 of those downtown. I have a new one next door to me. I know there's 14 now. There's probably more. There's 27 on the hilltop, and there's 51 in the Madison area. Of those, the average price is 340 grand, which is around $2,000 for a mortgage. That is well within these apartment ranges for their rent. They could buy a house. If they need a place to live, buy a house. Other than that, the other big issue is there. The medium range of those houses is $340,000. That is a big problem for our area. Who can go and buy a $340,000 house? Not very many. Again, downtown is a jewel. Once you get rid of your green space, you can't get it back. You talk to kids, I teach kids. I talk about preserving, I talk about nature, I talk about how you got to take care of it. Once it's gone, it's gone. And yeah, you talk about money and you want money. There's other ways to get it. There's other places to put it. Don't defer that beautiful area for children, because a lot of our school students, they go down to that area. They do history, they go on tours. Downtown where I teach, they go down. They walk to that river. They do things. That traffic will be a nightmare. It's already being built up for that. We've got all these four-way stop signs now. It's already being prepped for it. I think this has been in works for a long time and we haven't heard about it. It is very obvious that people do not want it. The majority do not want it. And it would be a shame. I know it will be a shame if you guys voted for something that you know your community does not want. I have sent emails, last thing, I have sent emails to city council. I had 3 of them respond. 2 were pretty dismissive, but they responded. The rest didn't. I've met with Mayor Courtney. We've had a nice discourse about this. I know the information was shared to city council, my proposal. There's lots of things. Vote no. We don't want it.
Okay, Robin Stacer is up and Chris Cody.
Is it okay if I start?
Yes.
Yes. My name is Robert Stacer. I live at 518 East 2nd Street. The takings clause found in the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution limits the government's power to seize private property, ensuring that if it does, the owner is justly compensated. It applies to both physical takings like eminent domain and regulatory takings where government actions significantly diminish property value. When government regulations like zoning laws or environmental restrictions substantially diminish the value or use of private property, that constitutes a taking. There are several property owners who would lose their view of the riverfront if the proposed apartment complex is built on the Madison Cole lot. Those owners would have solid legal ground to sue the city for the just compensation of their loss. Just compensation may include not just the property's value, but also potentially damages for losses resulting from the taking. It would cost the city, hence the taxpayers, a lot of money to defend against such lawsuits. It would cost the city, hence the taxpayers, a lot of money if it lost such lawsuits. I heard at least one of those property owners here tonight. If there are any of you who would like to work with me to coordinate, I am sitting right here and I will wait after the meeting to talk with any of the property owners who would be considering filing such a lawsuit. I will help you. Please vote against this. Thank you.
Chris Cody and then Amy Stewart.
Good evening. My name is Chris Cody and I live at 603 East 2nd Street. I previously submitted a written letter stating my support for this rezoning and explaining how I believe it comports with best practices in urban planning and also would have no adverse effects to the National Historic Landmark District. I still stand by those comments. However, I've got some new thoughts that I'd like to offer. Madison's riverfront is a tremendous asset, but that's not what we're here to talk about tonight. We're talking about a very, very small portion of it. The riverfront is miles long. I believe there's room for open space and
all right, please be respectful of the person speaking, even if you don't agree.
I believe that
they're respectful of you. So.
I believe that there's room for both open space and for small development in this area. When I look at the riverfront, what I'm most concerned about is the fact that the entirety of the riverfront west of the Lanier Mansion is currently zoned for heavy industrial use. That would be a horrible use in that area. I think the plan committee needs to look into changing that, and anyone that wants to work on saving the riverfront, that we all need to work on that together too. I think that this particular area, though, is not currently meaningful open space that contributes to the public realm. It's empty gravel lots. It's interrupted by a lot of private property. It really can only ever be used as open space in the form of small pocket parks in an area that already has a lot of park use. We're already seeing reinvestment in Welch Park, for example. The city wants to invest in more park space. I think there are better areas, underserved areas in places like John Paul Park that would be better vehicles for that investment. Here in this area, this is the one small stretch of the riverfront that I do believe is ideal for development. From a historic preservation perspective, the biggest problem that we have in Madison right now are vacant and abandoned buildings and the lack of new investment in our downtown over recent decades. The fact that nothing new has been built in our downtown at any even mid-sized scale like this proposal in almost 50 years is a huge problem. That's a tremendous deterrent to attracting new investment. This project would bring new investment to Madison that's sorely needed to break that seal that might help cause folks to be interested in investing in other vacant and abandoned buildings in our towns. So thank you very much. I also just want to say for everyone that's expressed concerns about the building's architecture, I believe Felicia said it correctly earlier that the proper venue for that is the HDBR. And I do think the historic guidelines we have in our city are very strong. And I really encourage everyone to show up to those meetings if and when there's an application and have their voices heard. Thank you.
We got Amy Stewart and then Peggy Blairbaum, is that right? Sorry. Okay.
All right, my name is Amy Stewart. I didn't realize there'd be a time limit, so it's going to be a bit disorganized. I live at 1812 Blackmore Street. I want to start by saying I don't envy your position because you can make 100 right decisions, but you make one wrong decision, especially one of such magnitude, and this will be what you're remembered for. And this is the community you live with, your neighbors and everything. They don't forget quickly. All right, I have deep roots in the community. I volunteer for things, as many people here do. We are the community of Madison. What we say should be taken into account. Let's see, I'm going to skip around. Yes, there will be flooding. We know there will be. And let's be realistic. People are going to want to stay in the apartment. They're going to need assistance. Their cars underneath are going to be flooded. Where are they going to move to when they need to? It's going to be complicated. It's not just a simple, oh, it'll be fine. We had a hard enough time just cleaning up the dog park, let alone actual like apartment issues. Let's see. And it goes against all of Madison's branding. We want the riverfront to be this beautiful scene that brings people in. It brings people from the hilltop too. We've forgotten that the hilltop also goes down there. You can put houses up on the hilltop and we can go down and enjoy the space. We do enjoy the space down there. I keep hearing the word vacant lot. This is a vacant lot that isn't used for anything. That's not true. It's used for every festival we have, every event that's being used for VIP parking, for vendors to set up, for displays, for emergency services to set up. It's not vacant, it's versatile. Is it pretty? No, it's ugly. But let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. Let's clean it up and let's make it look nice and used. If you need ideas for it, it's right next to Fireman's Park. Why don't we make it something that would be to honor the first responders? All right. Anyway, the point is it does not go along with any of Madison's branding, anything that the community wants or needs. And that's it. Thank you.
I'm working on it. Is this up? No.
It should be on. Can you tilt it towards your mouth?
Up, oh, up.
Yeah.
Up. Is that it? Is that?
That's better.
Okay. Don't take that off my tongue. My name is Peggy Blairbaum. I live at 809 East 2nd. One of my concerns is if this were an application then that could affect how many votes it would take for the city council to like override your recommendation. If it's some other thingy that's not an application and just gets slipped right on through, it might take just the usual 4 votes to pass. I kind of feel like we're being slipped a Mickey on this thing. I just think, like, if there is an application ever, will it come back for the proper type of hearings, or is your recommendation going to be it? And so that's my concern.
All right, that was the end of the public comments, because it's going through the list of people that signed up. With that being the end of the public comments, we now, let's see, make sure I got this right.
Josh, I would probably make sure you adopt all of the written correspondence that you've received.
That's a good point. So the attorney is requesting that the board make sure that we adopt, or at least acknowledge, all the correspondence that we have received and emails. I know there's been plenty of emails. All those have been put on record. The commission members have seen it. We have, what'd you submit today? Well, what was it?
I was just going to read it. What we have.
Yeah, but I mean, so there was a petition that was provided. Sorry. I'll let you say it. That's not, I'm not going to keep it from you. And then Mr. Oxford provided a document that will also get put in the record. So just making sure that those get put in the record.
Is there any document which tells us exactly what you're voting on, the ordinances which govern this riverfront district, or are we just, well, now there's going to be a district? And maybe the mayor's little secret meetings he's been having that aren't really secret, but they're having to discuss something. Do you have those ordinances that go with this district or not?
The resolution is on the table for right now for us to consider. That's what I read.
What are you considering? Are
The
there
resolution that I read
ordinances
earlier. Talk about the.
I received two separate petitions opposing this resolution in this riverfront district rezoning. The first contained 1,594 signatures, and the second contained 321 signatures, and I submitted those to Nicole for the record.
Okay. All right, so with that, are there any further comments from the board? I know you do. I'm going through the right. All right, go ahead.
Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight and sharing your concerns. This has been thought on for a very long time now. And based on what I've heard from the community, in my own perceptions of this plan, I don't oppose the idea of some sort of zoning change on the riverfront, but I do oppose this plan and also the rushed nature with which this was submitted to us. Mr. Bonch made some good concerns, raised some good concerns about existing properties not being able to be renovated. Sorry. And Mr. Cody also raised some good concerns with zoning on the far end of the riverfront still being industrial. I believe that this specific proposal doesn't address any of that, and it's specifically tailored to allow one project to be put forward in a rather quick manner. I grew up, I'm younger than a lot of folks, so I didn't see the riverfront back when it was a mess. And I'm very grateful for all the work that has been put in over the last 40 or 50 years to redevelop our riverfront into what it is today. The open space zoning that was put in place in the early 80s corresponded with the revitalization on the riverfront, the Riverfront Development Committee and all of their hard work that went into that. And those two things working hand in hand have been wonderful planning success for Madison, and it's built a riverfront we're all proud of. Whether you're for this plan or against this plan, we all love our riverfront. And my concerns with this, this specific with this proposal as it's been presented to us, the wording of it, we've got, it's a page and a half of guidelines for an entire new zoning district that marks a radical change to our riverfront, to how development is done on our riverfront. And I don't think that's enough. There's not enough breaks. There's not enough bumpers, so to say, to steer this, to ensure the community has a real say in what is built down there. And, specifically, let's look at the schedule of uses that's presented here. Apartments and condominiums are just a straight up permitted use that don't have to go to the Board of Zoning Appeals. And so within the limited guidelines we've got in this proposed section 6.31, and 0-foot setbacks all the way around unless they get a 5-foot easement for an adjoining parcel. With that, you've got a lot of just very, very vague descriptions that don't benefit our riverfront. Specifically, moving on, measuring the height restriction from the flood protection grade instead of the actual grade of the real estate, I believe is misleading and unfair. Most of the time, these parcels placed into this riverfront district will not be flooded, and the community will see a building whose height is 35 feet plus the difference between the elevation of the ground and the flood protection grade. So the difference is 10 foot, 45-foot building, 15, 50, and it puts these buildings wholly out of character for Madison, for the adjacent area, and for the historic district. Portions of parcels that may, in the riverfront district, that may not be in a special flood hazard area, or what happens to those, and what happens if a rezoning occurs that puts a parcel in the riverfront district that is not in a special flood hazard area? How is the height of those buildings to be determined? That's not clear. In the proposed ordinance, I believe it should be amended to provide a maximum height of 35 feet from grade if it's to be considered at all. The restrictions that I was speaking about in section 6.31 provide limitations for signs, fences, walls, and hedges, location of parking areas, excluding structured parking, and lighting. The lighting restriction, for example, is very ambiguous. The standard is that lighting shall not infringe upon the rights of adjacent property owners. And there's no real standard to be measured there. It's not helpful to surrounding property owners, and nor is it helpful to the developers when any developer needs to determine how they plan their site out. It'd be much better to set specific criteria for all of these areas. For lighting, you could establish a photometric plan that would allow light from any development measured in like foot candles or something at the boundary, something specific, quantifiable that we can measure, which would provide certainty for everyone. Importantly, however, the provisions contain no restrictions dealing with any of the following issues, which are often dealt with by other jurisdictions. Density of the proposed developments on these sites, unit mix, for example, how many bedrooms there are, often impact issues such as parking and whether families can live in a unit, and also required amenity space. There's all sorts of things that need to be considered with large developments like this that aren't even considered in here. And because this apartment or condominium would be a permitted use, the Board of Zoning Appeals would have no jurisdiction to question any of this. It would just go. And also by eliminating, when this schedule of uses was changed in between meetings, when it was restricted, but it eliminated nearly all other retail uses besides eating and drinking. And I believe that's a disservice to Madison in any zoning district, because it forces multifamily use, regardless of whether they're for sale or rent. It eliminates projects that may be more beneficial for Madison from uses that would fall under a 3% tax cap instead of limiting it to only projects that would have a 2% tax cap. So we're leaving tax revenue on the table there. And also it precludes useful retail uses that would attract people to the riverfront other than residents and help make the area more vibrant. So I would urge the planning commission to take a breath, to say no to this specific resolution and form a committee to re-examine our riverfront as a whole, take a holistic approach on this. Don't, as somebody said, don't shotgun this. Don't just rush into this for the sake of one development, but stop, look at everything, come up with a plan that benefits existing property owners so they've got flexibility in maintaining and repairing existing structures, but also listens to the community and takes input on the direction that we want to see our riverfront go and what sort of development we want to have on our river. Thank you.
Any other comments from the board? All right, just as a, since we've heard a lot from the public and some board comments, I'm going to give the city a 2-minute period of time to respond to any of the questions that were raised in this, but you'll have a 2-minute time limit. Thank you.
The mic. Make sure it's on. Somebody turn it off.
It should be all the way up, the button.
You hear me now?
Yes.
Well, thank you. I want to say I appreciate everybody being here tonight and the civility of this evening. There has been no rush on our part in order to bring this to the community. There's been no secret.
Please be respectful, please.
There's been no secret meetings. What we've been doing has been very transparent over the course of my administration over the past 6 years. And that is investing in our community, the hilltop, the downtown, revitalizing every part, bringing new investment. A lot of it has been outside investment. In fact, a couple $100 million of it has been outside investment. It's also been a collaboration inside the community. Revitalizing our neighborhoods has been extremely important. Vacant and abandoned structures, nuisances, those are serious issues that our community is facing. But we have brought in tens of millions of dollars to revitalize every corner. There's still work to do here. This design isn't finalized. We shared with you what our vision is. But the Historic District Board Review is going to have a lot of opportunity to scrutinize, as well as the community through other public meetings, to scrutinize the design so that it is compatible. Modern best planning practices are in place here. It has been over 30 years since we built housing. We desperately need housing. You can't move up. You can't downsize. No one can move in. Your kids can't stay here. There's nothing to rent. We're trying to solve problems. We've been doing that very effectively, and we're going to continue to work really hard for the future of our community. And it's very compatible with what we're doing. Our historic district and our riverfront and new modern construction can coexist. And that is what we're doing with our new planning. You'll see another zoning, a major zoning opportunity to review that in council and the plan commission at the end of this year. So I appreciate each and everybody being here tonight and remarks, and I appreciate all the service of our plan commission here. Thank you.
All right, at this point in time, we do have, we have a motion on the floor. We did have a second. So at this point in time, we will do a roll call vote.
Clarify what the yes and no.
Okay.
Motion.
So the yes, there'll be a yes or no vote. If you vote yes, you are voting for the resolution that I read at the beginning. If you vote no, that means you are voting against it.
Refresh us with your resolution.
Josh, are you ready?
Do you need a microphone?
You ready?
Yep.
Okay. Joe, is everything in place? Just to make sure. Okay,
you're voting on the resolution.
Okay. All right. Roll call vote.
Joel Storm,
Yes.
Jerry Ralston,
Yes.
Rick Ferris,
No.
Thank you.
Josh Wilbur,
Yes.
Carl Eaglin,
Yes.
Mike Armstrong,
No.
Zach Laughlin,
Yes.
Patrick Tevenaugh,
No.
Van Crafton.
Yes.
You're not public servants.
With that, the resolution passes on and it will be heard by now the city council. With that, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Do you have a second motion? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Zach,
Earl made the motion, who seconded it?
Wow.
Okay.
There you go.
Thank you.
I'm old.
Yeah.